But first, let's take a look at tonight's top stories. The Prime Minister exclusively confirmed to Sky News today that 3 Australians were on board the US submarine that sank an Iranian frigate this week. This was Anthony Albanese talking to Chief News anchor Kieran Gilbert.
I can confirm that there were 3 Australian personnel on board that vessel. I can confirm also, though, that no Australian personnel have participated in any offensive action against Iran.
They were on board the sub as part of the AUKUS agreement to give Australian sailors experience on nuclear submarines. Now, the Greens have been trying to make this out like it means we have boots on the ground or something. That's not what's happening. A few Australians happened to be present when a naval submarine was on a naval mission. Nothing more, nothing less. The Prime Minister also said that his support for the US and Israel's war on Iran was in part because of Iran's terror attacks on Australian soil.
My job is to assess Australia's position, and I think that the attack on Australian soil made our position quite clear. It really brought home to Australians that the nature of this regime wasn't just engaging in proxy terrorism through Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, but was prepared to reach across the other side of the world to promote an attack on Australian soil, to promote division here in Australia.
And on that point, you'd have to say, thank God we don't have Sir Keir Starmer as our Prime Minister as they do in the UK. He's taken a rather different tack this week. We have to be clear that this is a terrorist regime that has indeed targeted our country, and it ought to be wiped out. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump has claimed that Iran has been on the phone trying to make a deal. But Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has refuted that, saying they haven't asked for a ceasefire and they'll be doing no deals with Trump. In fact, he said they were ready for a US ground invasion and that, quote, we are waiting for them because we are confident that we can confront them, and that would be a big disaster for them. I'm not sure how much of a disaster it would be, actually, given what we know of the equipment Iran is using. The Wall Street Journal reports today that they're using decades-old jets, including some that date back to the Vietnam War, before the Iranian Revolution. And they reckon it would be a disaster for the US. The reality is Iran has no real friends except a few terror groups that they fund, and they've been neutered by this attack. And if they could really do anything, they'd have done it already. They'll have no choice but to cut a deal if they want to stem the damage. And while all of this is going on, the radical Islamist group Hizb ut-Tahrir has today been declared a prohibited hate group under the federal government's new hate speech laws, meaning anyone who supports, joins or associates with them could face up to 15 years jail.